All right, today we're diving into something really cool, a framework called the Ouroboros Percussive Codex. And yeah, it's a mouthful, but the idea is simple and kind of mind-blowing. What if there's an entire universe inside a single drum beat?
I want you to think about that for a second. The last time a beat just grabbed you. What if I told you that feeling wasn't just music? What if it was the result of, like, cosmic laws, a perfect physical system where every hit has a consequence? That's exactly what we're going to unpack. So, at the heart of this whole thing is a concept they call the cosmic loop. And the big idea here is that a drum kit isn't just a pile of wood and metal. Nope, it's a complete closed system. It's this eternal feedback loop, right? You've got the hard laws of physics, the fluid motion of the drummer, and the rhythm that comes out, all feeding back into each other over and over.
Okay, let's get into it. We'll start with the foundation of the whole thing, the Ouroboros music theory, or OMT for short, and what it says about the drum kit.
The theory says this little universe is deterministic. Now, that's a big word, but it just means it follows predictable rules. Think about it. A specific stick with a specific weight hitting a drum head with a specific tension, it's always going to give you a predictable sound. It's this perfect, unbreakable chain of cause and effect, from the idea in the drummer's head to the stick hitting the skin, all the way to the sound hitting your ears.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Inside this perfect, predictable universe, there's this constant battle, right? A tension between two opposite forces. The theory calls them form and flux. Basically, it's the rigid, unchangeable laws of physics going head-to-head with the free-flowing, creative human spirit.
So, on one side, you've got form. That's the static stuff, the unchangeable physics of the drums. You can't argue with it. And on the other side, you've got flux. That's the dynamic part, the human element. It's all the expression and creativity the drummer pours in. And the magic, the actual music, happens right there in the collision between those two forces.
So what are we talking about with these immutable laws? It's just straight up physics. A huge 24-inch kick drum is always going to be lower than a little 10-inch tom. That's a fact. Maple wood is going to sound brighter than mahogany. Another fact. Even that tiny little angle where the drum head sits on the shell, the bearing edge, that totally dictates the sound. These are the rules of the game. The drummer can't break them. They just have to master them.
And this is where the fun starts. This is where the human, the flux, steps in. You can't change the physics, right? But you can work within them. You can't make a tom bigger, but you can tune it high or low. You can't change what the wood is made of, but you can change your grip. You can hit the cymbal on the bell or the edge. You can play soft. You can play loud. Every tiny choice you make adds a new color to the palette. You're painting with sound using this fixed set of tools. All right, so we've got our laws of physics and we've got our human creativity. But how do you organize all that chaos into something meaningful? Well, you need a language.
And I love this analogy. It's perfect. If physics are the unbreakable laws of this universe, then the rudiments, they're the alphabet. They are the absolute fundamental building blocks. Your single strokes, your double strokes, your paradiddles, those are the ABCs. And with them, you can build words, sentences, entire stories, all with rhythm. And you can see here, each family of letters in this alphabet has a specific job to do. You want to create a long, sustained sound on an instrument that can't really sustain? You use a roll. You need to move around the kit quickly and smoothly? Diddles are your best friend. Want to make a note sound fatter? Give it some weight. That's a flam. Need to create this sense of pulling into the next beat? You use a drag. See? Every single one is a tool for a specific job. Okay, we have the rules of the universe, and we have the language to speak in it. So now we get to the really good stuff, the two ideas that transform all this technical stuff into actual music. And those are unity and paradox.
Let's start with unity. Honestly, this is the real magic trick of drumming when you think about it. You've got four limbs, two arms, two legs, all doing completely independent things. It should sound like a mess. But unity is that binding force that makes it all sound like one single powerful entity. And when you achieve that perfect unity, what do you get? You get the groove.
But here's the thing. If it was all about perfect unity, it would just sound like a machine, a drum machine, totally robotic, no soul. And that's where paradox comes into play. Paradox is the art of breaking the rules, just a little bit. It's that intentional push or pull against that perfect rigid grid. That's the secret sauce. That's what makes music feel human.
And if you want to talk about a master of paradox, you have to talk about the legendary Jay Dilla. He was famous for this drunk feel, they called it. He would program beats that were intentionally, deliberately behind or ahead of the beat. So on a computer screen, it looks totally wrong. It looks messy. But then you listen to it, and it just feels so right. That amazing contradiction, that's the whole point of paradox. So all of this, the physics, the language, the battle between unity and paradox, it's all leading us to one final destination, the ultimate goal, the singular truth.
So you might be asking, okay, what's the end game here, right? Why do we need to know about the physics and the rudimental alphabet and this push and pull of unity and paradox? What is the entire point of all this? It's all for this one thing, the pocket. And the pocket is so much more than just being on time. A metronome is on time, but it has no feeling. The pocket it's a feel. It's that incredible breathing groove where everything feels both super tight and completely relaxed all at once. That's the Holy Grail. That's the singular truth that every musician is chasing.
This is the reason you start nodding your head or tapping your foot without even realizing you're doing it. It's why a super simple beat can get an entire room of people moving. The pocket is that magic moment where all the theory just melts away. The physics, the drummer's technique, the rhythm, it all just vanishes and becomes one thing. Music that feels amazing. So the next time you hear a beat that you just can't get out of your head, a groove that just feels perfect, remember this. Remember the cosmic loop. You're not just listening to a rhythm. You're listening to a tiny universe firing on all cylinders. You're hearing the exact moment a drummer's soul locks in perfectly with the cosmic pulse of the music.